Welcome back to the Open Book Podcast. Today we'll be chatting with my good friend Martha Munoz White in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month. Welcome, my friend Martha Munoz White. We're going to touch on the subject of how you, as an immigrant child, came to America. Your parents were immigrants. In honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, we want to talk about the real deal about how families got here and their feelings about it. So, introduce yourself. Where were you born? Your children, how old you are, all that.
Age? I would leave age out of the equation. What does age have to do with it?
Nothing.
Nothing. So my name is Martha White. I immigrated from Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. That's a mouthful, but it's a big city. Probably I believe is the second largest city in Mexico. I was 14 when my family decided to immigrate to the United States. And to be honest with you, I was just talking to my husband about this, how it was overnight. It was an overnight decision. They left the children out of the decision making because it was a situation where my mother had already come to the United States that previous months to discuss with my siblings who were already residing in the United States, that she was going to, she needed help raising us. My father had just passed away, and she was getting older. And so she felt that Mexico was changing in the way that she couldn't keep up her strength to continue to protect us. We live nearly in poverty. As far as opportunities, there weren't many in Mexico. If you understand a little bit about the economy, it's either you have the rich and the poor. Almost no middle class, not at that time. Now you see it a little bit more, but back in the day, it was either you're rich or you're poor. So as far as opportunities for her children, they were very limited. And I'm very thankful that she had the wisdom to make the hard decision for herself and for us to make sure that we had a better life. And also, and I get a little teary because I know there was a lot of sacrifices made so that we could leave everything behind to start a new life in the United States. And
you're one of 16.
I am one of 16. I was one of the last ones. So by that time, when I came around, my mom had almost no strength to keep up with me, and I was a wild child. So she
really,
so she knew that she needed the help, the assistance of my older siblings.
How old is your oldest now?
She's in her late 60s.
Wow.
Yeah, but she's like a rock. I think that's just the genes in our family that strong women, strong men as well. And as far as adversities, if there are any, we make sure that, we just don't look at them that way because we're very blessed to be in a country where, like, if there's a will, there's a way. Yeah. And that's always a mentality of the immigrant. I believe in that. I believe that, if you left your land to come to a different land, it's because it's going to be better. So you bring that mentality. And I do look around other communities of composed of other immigrant groups. And that's always also their mentality. Yes. And I feed off that because I think that having lived in a country where opportunities are not, very given or very limited, you do the little opportunities that you come on this side, you really do take advantage of it. I know for a fact.
Yeah, and I know you're an amazing person. You are smart. You have mentored so many. You've created this amazing life that you have. And I've met a few of your siblings, and they're also amazing people. That's why this story is so important. I wanted to share your journey here because of the fact that your mom did become a single mother. And how did she get here? Like, did she come illegally? Like, how was that process? Like,
so my mother did have a passport. She was trying to get all of us a passport. And it was very difficult. It was in the 80s. This was prior to amnesty. Amnesty is the law that got passed by Ronald Reagan to allow immigrants to stay here if they had been here and working in the fields. So I think that was also a big push for our family to be here during that time, because we knew that this law was going to take effect, and we
Okay.
wanted to be here for that.
Okay.
My brothers had already been working in the fields. I mean, basically, you come to take any job that you can be
Yeah.
granted. And so we knew that we had a very good opportunity to apply for this new law and become legal
Okay.
residents. But that in itself was a very costly.
Yeah. How did she do that? Who paid for all that?
So they had this very interesting plan that only the working children, the working people in the household, were going to be submitting applications because it was very expensive. And not only that, there were a lot of people taking advantage of immigrants that were applying. There's when things like this happen, the Latin community, I think, gets taken advantage majorly because, one, the language barrier,
Yes.
we don't know the laws.
Yes.
So there was a lot of predator companies out there that
Really?
would take your money. My family was a victim of it. So my mother had put in all the applications for the older adults that were working,
Okay.
that can contribute, so they can help the younger members like myself that was going to school. And for a long time, we thought we were in the process of getting our residency, and come to find out, our application never got submitted. The woman just
Took your money and
took our
left.
money and left.
So that it still happens till today. I heard that it still happens to today because, they want it. Everybody wants to come here, of course, to build the American dream, and they are not knowledgeable in that. I know within my own in-laws, like I heard stories and stuff like that, where my mother-in-law, has told my husband about these family members that do try to come, and just people take advantage of them because of the language barrier, because of the desperate situation they're in to come here. You just believe anybody. You're so gullible in that case, right?
And I think that in my culture, there's a lot of trust as well. We feel that
With your own people, right?
with our own people, no, with
Yeah.
everybody,
Okay.
but more with our people. We have an open heart to believe that that you're a good person, I'm a good person, so we judge everybody in the same token. And it comes to find out that we learned the hard way that that's not always the case.
So how long did it take for her to actually realize that was not happening? Like the papers were not submitted, and
When I was trying to submit applications for college,
oh,
that's when it came out that we were not, that we were not here legally. So I mean, come to find out. So as a person who has struggled, who I felt that I was working really, really hard, not only to just learn the language, but to do very well in school, because
Yeah.
I knew what the end goal was. And when I was ready to start college, that's when we realized
my
that
goodness.
nothing was going to happen. It still didn't. I still think that I don't know, it's just like a machine. Once you turn it on, you can't turn it off, because you see the end in sight. So it was just taking a lot of detours along the way to make sure that I stay educated, as far as, because my vision was, not to knock down on jobs like McDonald's or whatever, or cleaning jobs or whatever.
Yeah.
I would take any job today if I had
Yeah.
to support my family, just like my mother,
Yeah.
did to support
so what did she
us.
do back in
Mexico?
Yeah.
My mother, she only went to school one day, like one day. But to me, she has always been my hero, because she learned to write, she learned to read, she
And
learned
that's
to do math.
not typical, right, of a Hispanic older woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, because she would say that her parents didn't. Back in the culture, is you just get married. Your husband supports you. You guys live in a ranch. That school is nonsense.
Okay.
And so she would always have the dream for us that it was going to be different. So she would do whatever she needed, to
make
encourage us. So to me, it was very important for me to graduate high school and be, and I was the first one to graduate high school.
Really?
Yes,
Out
I
of
was.
16? Wow.
Yes. But even then, I always also have to give credit to my siblings.
I was about to say,
The
yeah.
ones that had to give up school in order to support us, they gave up their education. They're business owners. They have to start from scratch. Very little. I talk about, because I'm a career advisor now, and when
Yeah.
I'm talking to people who feel that there are no opportunities out there. I say, you make your own opportunities.
That's right.
Nobody comes and gives you anything. As far as my brothers, I mean, they started. I have a brother, an example of a brother who comes to mind. He was working at a furniture store, making furniture to sell, right? And such was the case that during that time they didn't have papers either. So the owners, they didn't want to pay people. They would just call immigration and just have a raid that day.
Oh my gosh!
And everybody would be
that
taken.
breaks my heart. It's so sad.
Imagine your husband
I know,
not coming
so
home
sad.
to see his kids and for weeks at a time, and you not knowing what's going on, and him having to place a call to tell you, I'm on the other side. I got taken. Not only do you have to struggle, how am I going to pay the rent? But how can I bring him back?
Yeah, and in situations like that, how would you? And he's the person that's in charge of food. How you guys are going to live? All these things, and that is heartbreaking. And a lot of, I mean, I don't really talk about politics, but here's the deal. At the end of the day, Hispanics run America. Whether you believe it or not, if you go to a Korean restaurant, who do you think is cooking back there?
Right.
Hispanics. We go to anywhere in the world, Hispanics are there working their asses off, and I'm all for being. My husband is Hispanic, my children are Latinas. I truly believe that we are the core, they are the core of America.
Oh yeah.
You take them out of the equation, who's gonna work?
Oh yeah.
Who's gonna work like that hard? Who's gonna be out there in those fields picking your vegetables? Those farmers who are making minimum wage can't even afford to live. See, I'm getting all heated I'm irritated when I hear somebody make the comment of, oh, the corn man's on the street illegally, let's call and see, or let's get him in trouble. That's effed up to me, because he's not selling drugs. And I think about your story. I think about my husband's parents' story. I think about my in-laws. Like, at the end of the day, I think about that culture, and they're just here trying to make it. That's it. And I understand illegally, legally. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. They're humans.
No, I think that as parents now, we understand it better than ever. And if you're a parent yourself, you should also, think of it in terms like that. That when opportunities are not where you are and you have mouths to feed, what do? Do you just wait until laws change? Sometimes, it may take forever if they ever do change in your favor. So you got to pack up and go.
Yeah.
My husband, during the recession, his job ended and there were limited opportunities for him. So we got up and went to San Antonio where there was a job for him waiting. I think it's the same sentiment. It doesn't matter what line of politics you align with. It's the need that that you have a vision for your family. And you have to care. You have the responsibility too.
And even that's considered a migrate. You guys moved to. So every person has a story why they migrated. You cannot just be like, oh, I'm just going to leave. There's a story behind all of it.
For us, it was safety. For us, it was better opportunities. And also a need to unify the family, because my older siblings were already here. I didn't know most of them. When I came,
that was my question. Who did you guys leave behind? Nobody.
I left. My sister was already married there, and so her and her children continued to live in Mexico.
Okay.
But we visit them a lot, so we have amended that relationship because distance does sometimes weakens relationships.
Oh. Were they sad that you guys left, or how did they feel? How did she feel about that you guys just left and?
Oh, she was sad, of course, because she was very close to us, and we were close to her as well. But at the end, she understood it was for the improvement of our family as well. And so it was exciting just coming here, and like I think about the excitement for me was when they told me how they sold me the United States was we're gonna live in a house that has carpet and that has a phone.
Really?
Yeah, in Mexico, we had to walk like miles to get to a payphone to make a phone call to our family here in the United States. So to think of you're going to live in a house that has a phone.
See, stuff like that people take for granted, or carpet, or running hot.
I don't even have carpet now in my house.
Well, my husband says too, like, you know, every time he would go back to Mexico, it's like you gotta catch a bus, you gotta walk, there's no hot water, or, you know, his family is what has a ranch. They have a ranch there, and I'm so curious. Can I see pictures? He's like, we didn't have a camera. We didn't have a camera.
Like, I have 3 pictures of myself.
That's
like,
what
I'm
he
always
tells me.
begging when it comes to my birthday. Like, what do you want for your birthday? Give me a picture. You know, a copy of a picture of me when I was little.
That's what he says.
That's how it was.
He didn't have any pictures back. Like he said,
was.
we didn't have a camera. You know, we didn't. He said, I grew up really, really poor. Like I grew up poor where we had like 2 pants poor. Like maybe even that's another thing for immigrants, that immigrant children, you grow up really poor, and so you value everything, and you work so hard and you save your money, and you know, not everybody, but the people that I know that are in my life, and which 70% of the people in my life are Hispanic, I can say, and the other half is my family. So, you know, I have a few friends that are Caucasians, but other than that, 50%, 70% are Hispanics. And what I've learned from that is that it doesn't matter where. If we came from Mexico, my grandma was from Japan. She is from Japan. She's an immigrant as well. My grandfather on my dad's side, he was an immigrant. They work so hard.
Yeah.
They value everything, and you work till you die, kind of deal. Like, you know, you work, and the mindset is different of an immigrant child or an immigrant. The mindset is different, meaning, and at the end of it also, you just want to go home to your land. Yeah. And you feel like, I want to go home and I want to see my land. And do you feel like that?
Yeah. I mean, I take appreciation now. Like, it was finally 2015 when I can actually take my family now back to Mexico. 2015, that was when I went back with my family, my husband and my children. And that to me was surreal because during that time, my son and I were having a difficult mother-to-son relationship because he was a, spoiled teenager. But upon our arrival to the States, he said, he was like, Mom, I really appreciate everything that, oh my God, I'm going to cry again, that you have, that you guys do for us, because to see where you guys have come, where you came from, and like I see you in a whole complete different light.
Yes.
So that was pretty cool to share that, to walk with them, the neighborhood when I was little. Go to the stores, go to the butcher shop, and tell them where we used to get the meat and bring it home, and just the struggle. So he realizes where we started, and not just me, his uncles and aunties too. Yes. To say, you guys continue to be really like down to earth, very family oriented, because it doesn't matter. Like a person that immigrates to the States, they can work a really, really hard all day long, but still come home to make a really good meal. Yes. And that's kind of like the goal always at the end of the day. It's like, you're doing it for your family and you don't lose sight of that. So I think that's the heart of every struggle of the immigrant to make a better life. I'm crying.
I totally get that. I see that. I see that in my mother-in-law. I see it in you. I see it in a lot of my Hispanic friends. I see it in my sister-in-laws. I see it in my husband. So I get it. The big dream, right? At the end of the day. Yes. And then to have your children connect with you over that, and they get to appreciate the life you have given them. Yeah. Which is also their ancestors and their grandparents. And it just goes on. And I think in that that's what makes the Hispanics so amazing to me. Like that whole Hispanic heritage to me, it just yells Viva. and I 100% believe that it made you who you are, and it makes every person that I meet has a story and a journey, who they are, especially when you come to this country. Now, if you came here, if you were born here, I don't know if you would feel the same, but I think that's the whole part of it, right? The journey on getting here. So what do you think, what are your thoughts on DACA?
Ooh, DACA.
I don't know too much about DACA. I'm learning and researching more and more and talking to friends about it. But what are your thoughts?
I think I'm in favor. I am in favor of DACA because I think that how can you disapprove of a law that wants to empower people to do better? If we speak about economic mobility, this is a great opportunity for people because just, we come to this land and our brain doesn't stay back in home. We bring it with our dreams as well. And there are a lot of children out there that have big, dreams for themselves. I myself, during that time, I felt chained when we discovered that I wasn't going to be able to go to college.
Yeah.
And what do you do with that? Then what's my purpose? Why am I here? So I think that if we're dreaming of a place where each person is an equal contributes to the society.
Yeah.
How do we do that with low paying jobs? And education can provide better opportunities.
That's right.
And it will be an investment as well because these people will graduate and will be able to pay taxes. So to say, well, and I work in social work, and I know that I know the conversation that that is said about Hispanic stereotyping, that all we want to come to this land is to take advantage of the opportunities.
How does that make you feel when you hear that?
I'm a fighter. Like I am always in. I always like to position myself in a way to educate people because that's not the experience of everybody. My family has never, taken anything that does not belong to us.
Yes.
As far as benefits or anything, I think that for the most people, Latin people are very proud, and if they're able to work, they will work. Yeah. As far as but the programs were put in place
to help, to benefit,
to benefit. So I can see it both sides too. I am, I try to be a balanced individual to say, if you are taking advantage of the situation, I believe in karma. I think that you kind of situate yourself in a position where you're expecting people to feed you, and that doesn't really get you to go anywhere in life for your own personal goals. But no, that's not the case. And a lot of the people that I work with, they want to work. They want to, they want to better themselves. And it breaks my heart sometimes when I have to tell people that that are illegal here, I'm not able to assist you. Because, and you see it, the sadness in their face.
And you go home and you think about that too as well, right?
And I do, and the only reason why I'm not able to assist them is because there are laws in place that, any the employers that we partner with, they have to follow laws as well. Yeah. But I know for a fact that, they don't die with that no. And that's what and that's kind of what I really like to talk to people about. Is like, I know your heart. I know that this no is going to equate to many other possibilities for you. And many times I'm driving down the road and I see the same lady. I said, no, I cannot, put you with the employer's going to hire you because you have no papers. She's out there, selling tamales. I'm like, more power to you. Where there's a will, there's a way.
There's a way, exactly.
And then her situation will change. Such was my situation. Yeah. You continue to have the vision and the dream alive. I believe in God. God will,
make a way.
Make a way, come in place to say, your faith is so strong that, things, great things will happen. I mean, look at our situation. My family coming from a place where it's very poor to be able to not be in the situation anymore.
To have this product here.
I'm not saying that we're living lavishly, but it's a big triumph.
To own a home, to own a car, to own numerous homes, to have the education you have. Your mom is smiling down and being like,
Yeah, to me, to be successful now is just be able to speak English. There was a time when I couldn't. Yeah. I had a little boyfriend and it was just sign language the whole time, trying to have a conversation. But to me, that was the dream. When I first got here, it's like I would dream speaking English.
Really?
And that was it. And I think that people now ask me like, how was it for you? I said, I think for me, it was perfect to come at that age, because peer pressure is strong. So it can work against you or it can work for you. So for me, it was like, I will put everything that I have to put through to make sure that, that I will communicate somehow.
I applaud you, and I just want to say, like, you're one of my best friends. You know,
You are my friend. You are my best friend.
She's one of my best friends, and her life, the more stories I hear about her family, it amazes me, it empowers me, and I'm so in awe with your journey, your family's journey, your mother. And I hear stories about, we've known each other 10 years plus, and all these little stories that I hear that I've never heard, I go home thinking about it, and I'm in awe. So before anybody could judge an immigrant or a single mother coming to the United States, you need to know that there is a journey and a story behind every woman, every man that comes here, every person cleaning your yard, selling tamales, selling fruit. There's a story behind that guy who's in that kitchen cooking making your sushi. You know what I mean? Like, there's a story. So don't just off the bat, oh, immigrants, oh, selling corn. Oh, you have to think about it, because this can be the product. And this is the main goal.
And you know that when we travel, and I always had to leave that hotel clean, because I remember when we first got here, my mom was cleaning hotel rooms, and I would go help her.
I was just about to ask you that right now.
I would go help her. And I mean, the messes that we saw in those rooms. And so...
And you always leave a big tip. She's always leaving tips.
Always. So make sure that, that woman that is cleaning that room gets to go home a little early that day to go to go see her children. Because that was the life that, that we had. And thankful for the opportunities too. As far as, you never forget those struggles.
That's right.
Never forget. I don't care, I wouldn't be me if I had to pretend that was not part of my life. I think I have a greater connection with people because of it.
Yes.
When I'm talking with clients, I make sure that I connect with them at that level, because not always do people want to connect with you if they feel that you don't have the resources, that you haven't made it. So I don't want to waste my time with you.
Yeah.
I don't see myself, I don't see myself that way. I thank God for the opportunity to be in the kind of work that I do, because I feel that He has positioned me in that place, because I come from that.
Yes.
I come from that. And as life would have it, life changes every time. I may go back to that. So I would want someone that is providing that assistance to me to be reminded that there's only a certain type of people that can do their job. And those are the people that have a heart and that have that compassion, not to look down on people, but to help them out.
Help them out. So I have a question from a viewer. Can you think of a time when you felt unwelcome as an immigrant?
Oh, I can think of many. I think as immigrants, that comes with the territory, where there's a lot of people that like to have the argument that we don't belong here. However, I like to think in terms of, God created the land, so who is to say where I belong and where I don't belong? I walk into every room with the God-given right that I belong there.
Yes.
Because I think that every human being has the right to be here.
Yes.
Geography doesn't dictate your existence anywhere you walk. So there was a situation where I was at UNLV, and I was conducting a study group with many of my peers. And I was really, my goal is, let's get together and have this study so we can do very well. And for some reason, very unexpected, a peer of mine in my age group said to me, he says to me, I don't understand why you're putting so much effort into passing this test when we all know that you as a Latina, you will be nothing but a nanny and a cleaning lady.
Oh, no. I got goosebumps.
And to think, that it was someone in my age group. When you hear comments like that, it's from people of the older generation.
Yes.
That, that maybe that was what was happening back then. That was a narrative. But for someone in my own age group, and up to the point I had respected, to have something like that, it does something to me in my thinking to say, wow,
Yeah, what was your response to that?
It took me a while to actually like gather what he was saying, but in all honesty, it's not something I haven't heard before, but it was just so open in a group of other people. And it was people in that age, in that group, study group, that took even more offense than I did.
Really?
Yeah, this person got up and says that is not acceptable. And that person went in and reported that comment to the teacher.
As they should.
As they should.
Yeah.
However, me, it was ammunition. This is what
to
you
push
think.
you harder.
Exactly. It's like
I can see that.
You want to break my spirit. You want me to believe that this path has been set out for you. Like, you don't know my life. You know, you don't know what I've been through. So comments like that, if you thinking that is going to discourage me, it feels me at that moment to say, no, you know, that's your opinion. That's not a fact. So it is not. And I go back to the moment every time that, you know, someone wants to belittle our effort to say, you speak from your own experience.
That's right.
And I have to respect that that's where you are, but you don't know my life and you don't know what I had to overcome to get here. So I will not validate any comment like that, you know, to stop trying. If anything, you're just gassing me up.
Hence, watch what you say when you're talking to people in general. Watch what you say, and that's what I always say. So why do you think people even feel that they have a right to ask something like that or make a statement like that? Why do you think people do it?
To make assumptions about where a person
or make racist comments. I find that to be racist. Yeah,
I think it's from their lack of understanding and it's fear. If you think about it, when a person has to go that far to insult another human being, it's fear. What are you fearing? So it's something
that your people will take over.
It can be lack of resources, that they feel that there's not enough for all of us, which we know that is not true. You know, I mean, I believe in the universe and God providing for everybody.
Yeah.
And you putting your own effort to get what is yours. So I don't think that there's
being that they're born here in America, or, you know, like given these rights, and then you come in and you are taking.
Yeah, and I think it's the fear. It's also, I would want to even say maybe jealousy, because we come in with an added sense of purpose, with an added sense of
fire,
focus. Yeah, and not just Latinos. I'm talking about Asians. I see that in them as well. I see them, you know, people from other countries.
And we're not talking just from Mexico, from everywhere, Asians. Yeah,
so I'm just talking like the immigrant journey, the immigrant, wherever part of the world you happen to come from, you have come in with an added,
I believe that.
Just something about you that you know that where you are is not where you belong. And maybe that's something that somebody else sees that fire and they want some of it. They don't know how to get it, so they're going to try to
belittle you.
They're going to try to extinguish it because they can.
Yes. Yeah, I totally agree.
So that's what I feel, that when comments like that come about, it's a fear. It's a fear. So when I right away realize where it's coming from, I take no offense. That's where you are. You have a much longer journey to get where to where I'm at, just because of the lack of your own understanding.
So in ending this podcast, if you could tell anybody that's a part of DACA, or going to be, or wants to be a part of DACA, or to your Hispanics out here that are listening to this podcast, what advice would you like to give them, and what words of wisdom and strength would you like to give them?
Yo lo que quisiera decir, si usted tiene el sueño de continuar en su vida a soñar grande, que es el principal motivo de DACA, dar el motivo para que la gente pueda continuar a soñar, que la vida, especialmente en este país, sí hay muchas oportunidades, y que sí va a haber muchos obstáculos también igualmente, ya sea personalmente o también cosas que lidian con la política, que las leyes cambian continuamente. Pero yo diría, mi consejo para cada uno de ustedes, especialmente al estudiante que tiene un sueño de continuar, que no se rinda. Eso es, las cosas que están exteriormente, pues a veces uno no las puede controlar, pero tratar de controlar los sueños que uno tiene dentro y seguir luchando, porque las cosas siempre cambian. Si hoy se estancó esa ley de DACA, seguir luchando, porque en cualquier momento puede cambiar, y es cuando usted ya tiene que estar preparado para seguir y no empezar de cero, porque consistentemente ha estado trabajando para lograr ese sueño de no tener que estar esperando que las cosas cambien exteriormente. Uno siempre tiene el poder en sí mismo para hacer cosas personalmente, para seguir con ese cambio y esa lucha interiormente. Y algo que yo escuché en la radio que dice, ¿a qué venimos? A lograr. Si no, pues nos quedamos en nuestros países donde nada nunca pasa, pero las cosas aquí pasan si uno quiere que pasen.
And I want to thank you to my amazing friend. You know what? Happy Hispanic Heritage Month. Thank you. I love you.